Evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Friday Night Live. We have one of our very own, Mr. Dayo Ade, on site. I know you're very busy, and I promise to keep this as quick and as fast as possible. But you know what? It's Friday night. We're just here to relax, have fun, get to know you a little bit more, and of course, um, just have you ask us questions if you want. And of course, I'm sure a lot of people here have a lot of questions they want to ask you. My name is Folu Keotolami. I popularly go by Miss Folu. I'm just gonna start off a little bit with who we are, the Black Actors and Film Guild in Canada. And of course, I will go ahead and reintroduce, for those of you who do not know Mr. Dayo Ade, I will go back and reintroduce him. And then whatever I don't know about him, he's gonna tell us, right? So the Black Actors Guild of Canada was set up to encourage and also recognize a lot of Black talent who otherwise will not be able to get work in the film industry. We've had a lot of our counterparts tell us that, okay, well, maybe there's a script for a Black person, but then they don't find the Black people to act it out. So they end up changing it to a different race or different genre of people that would act. They will have to rewrite the scripts. So we said, you know what, I know for sure, and TJ, I believe he's online right now. He's the founder of the Black Actors and Film Guild. We looked at everything that people have been saying regarding, oh, there's no Black actors. Yes, there are Black actors. Yes, we have a lot of talented Black people who are here looking for work, but they can't find it, either because there are no scripts written for us, or when they do find roles, they find roles in other parts of the country. And it's not that easy for everyone to say, okay, I'm just going to pick up my bag and go to Hollywood, China, or wherever the work is. So that was kind of the brain behind building the Black Actors and Film Guild. So two we have two arms. So we have the Black actors on one side, we have the Black filmmakers on one side. And some of the Black actors actually spill over into the film side because they also want to be behind the scenes, either with makeup, producing, or directing. So when you see BAFG, it's the Black Actors Film Guild, and we just put it together, but we kind of separate them as well, so we kind of know who's going to be behind the scenes, so in front of the camera. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait just a minute or two back. I'm gonna introduce TJ. Actually, I'll introduce my co-host first, who is also a director here. His name is Blaze Bokini, and he's going to be helping me out a lot on the Zoom meeting. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. He'll be going over the questions to let us know what people have to say, or questions people have. I want to recognize Tony Adebaladente. She has also been a co-host with me on the Zoom when we had Friday Night Live with Tony. I'm sure you know Tony, right?
I'm not sure.
Tony Tambi? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, well, Tony, you have to get closer to the camera.
Oh, for me? Oh, okay. Oh.
No, for Tony.
Oh, Tony's not. Oh, Tony. No, I meant, Tony.
Oh, Tony. Okay.
Okay, and then of course I have TJ. TJ, look up. And then he's the founder, and of course my ever-present Mokoyila. He is an amazing actor. He's also a director. He's also working on his movie right now, actually. So we've got a very good diverse set of people here, and I know that we're gonna spend some good time getting to know you and getting to know your journey. TJ, did you want to say one or two things before I start? Because I'm diving right in.
All right, thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Do I call you Dayo or Ade? Which one should I call you?
Just Dayo is fine. Yeah.
Dayo. Yeah. All right. We appreciate you taking the time to come on today. Like Folu just said about the guild, it's set up. It's a not-for-profit organization set up to empower Black filmmakers and actors here in Canada. You know, some of the challenges we have. As a filmmaker myself, I experienced it firsthand. And even when I had project that I want to cast actors, Black actors for, you can't get them, you understand, because we don't have the platform for them, you understand me? And I'm sure you probably have that experience yourself, you know, the challenges Black people face in the industry, you understand me? We have to work 10 times as hard to get to the same opportunity that others have, you understand me?
Yeah.
So having people like yourself with vast experience to come and you know, talk about your experience and encourage actors and filmmakers, Black actors and filmmakers is one of the things that we at the Black Actors and Film Guild do and put forward there. You understand me? You know, because it helps. It's when they hear your story, when they hear your journey and the advice you have, you know, it helps to motivate people. You understand me? So we really appreciate you, and we hope to see you more. You understand? You know, I'm looking forward to hearing more of your journey. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. So we've got about 20 people online. We're going to start. It's 8:15. And like I said in the beginning, I'm going to try not to keep you too long because I know you're extremely busy. So who's Dayo Ade? Dayo Ade is a Canadian actor. He was born in Nigeria and moved with his family to Toronto, Ontario. At an early age, he played Bryant Lester BLT Thomas in seasons 3 to 5 of Degrassi Junior High series. He appeared as Nurse Leo Beckett on the CBC television series Cracked. Dayo Ade is also known for his role in comedy TV series Bob Harta Bishola, which we'll be getting to much later. So that's like in a nutshell. So can you please tell us about yourself, your journey, and in between, I'm going to be playing a few clips. Yes, I did my research. So I'm going to be playing some clips, and we're going to play the clips, and then you tell us a little bit about it, and we'll move from there to questions from the audience. Thank you.
Okay. All right. My name is Dayo Ade. Full name is Dayo Ade Farrakhan. So first, I just want to say thank you to my family members who are here and everybody who's on here. All of you are family, so we're all one. So I'm really honored to be here, to be talking to my people. Yeah, it's been a crazy journey getting to where I am now, but the journey continues. Is really like it's an ongoing journey. There's still more things that I am yet to accomplish that I've set as goals for myself. And I look forward to continue representing our people in a positive light and showing that we're not just Black actors, we are actors. We have stories to be told. And I think that it's time that people start really taking interest in hearing our stories, hearing the stories of the original foundation of just the human race altogether.
I lost it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to mute everyone for now. So I am now going to be playing a clip from one of your very first. I'm not going to say anything. Let me just play it, and then you can help us out on that. Okay.
Oh Lord.
I did my research. All right, let's get the volume in there. Okay.
What happened?
I got a lecture. It was no big deal. But listen, before that guy yesterday, there's something I wanted to ask you.
Yeah?
Would you like to go to the graduation dance with me?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, today we will complete the course.
Right, that's better. Then if we move this one.
Put this one here.
Then we could use this one. And it's done.
Michelle, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'd better go now, or else my parents will get worried.
Right. It's my parents. You can finally meet them. Hello, darling. Hi. Mom, Dad, this is Bryant.
So, you're Bryant.
Hi. Sorry. Well, I better go now. Nice meeting you, man. Sir.
Well, what do you think?
He seems very nice.
He is so nice.
Never mentioned he was coming.
I didn't think it was important.
All right. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so that role in that time, how was it getting to know about the audition for the role? How did you feel when they told you, okay, this is your next scene, this is what's gonna happen? And have you yourself gone through that in any way? We can't hear you though. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. So first part of your question, how was that role? At that time, this was in the 80s. So we were a bunch of kids tackling subjects and topics that even adults were having a hard time trying to navigate and have discussions about. Talking about interracial relationships in the 80s was still very much taboo. It was still something that a lot of people were against or not for. And, it was something that at that specific age, because I think I was around 14, 15, you know, our generation was a generation where color wasn't really as big a deal anymore. And the generation now after us and the second generation after them, racism is something that's taught. And the creator of the show, Linda, she used to be a school teacher. So a lot of the topics that we were tackling were topics that she herself had seen her students when she was still a teacher tackling in school. But how they made the show so very realistic is the writers would write the scripts, then we as the actors would come in, we would read the scripts, and then we would have an open discussion about what was real, what was on point, how we would say things, and our own personal experiences that we were currently having while we were in school. The writers would take all their notes and then go back to the drawing board and they'd make their tweaks and do their edits. And that's pretty much the finished product of what you see right there. The whole audition process, it was my mom. My mom was really she was the force behind all of my success. My mom was somebody, who was always very keen and aware of what I was passionate about from a very young age. Um, Being surrounded by strong Black women, both of my younger sisters and my mom, I think has built the foundation of who I am now, today, and who I strive to continue to be in the future. And my dad has just always been a hardworking man who's always about providing for his family. So just the whole process of even getting there to the point of getting on this show, it was all family. It was all family support. It was all a family ordeal. I don't remember the third part of the question.
Okay, I guess you kind of answered both questions
Okay.
together. So that's wonderful. So thank you for that. I'm going to go to questions in just a few minutes, and if you have a question, just raise your hand. If you don't want to type it in the comment section, I'll unmute you, and you'll be able to ask your questions to Mr. Dayo directly. So having been raised in Toronto and now in LA,
Yes.
How was the transition? Like, did you have an agent or a manager? Like, aside from family support that helped you get to where you are and obviously will move you on ahead, how was that transition? Like, was it an easy decision to make? Like, okay, I got this role, I'm out of here, kind of thing.
I wish it was that easy, but it really wasn't. Um, like I said before, it all started with the family foundation of just having a strong family background and just building off of that foundation. When I got ready to leave Toronto, it was after Degrassi had come to an end. And then I was at that point in my career and in my life where I was too young to play certain roles, but I wasn't, and then I was too old to play other roles. So I found myself kind of like in this weird paradigm at the time. And that was when I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm moving to New York. So I ended up actually moving to New York for a couple of weeks. And then I moved to New Jersey with my cousin who happens to be here. But Anthony, I see you. Thank you. Who took me in for like over a year. I lived in New Jersey with him. And my manager would come from Toronto and we'd go out trying to get myself representation in New York. Came very quickly to the realization that New York wasn't the place for me. Um, and I think my biggest advice to actors or just people in general is that you have to listen to your inner voice, listen to your subconscious. You'll know when you're in the right place or when you're going down the right path. And a lot of the times we fight those voices because we are sometimes so headstrong with the things that we want to do. But after living in New York for about a year, I ended up moving back to Toronto, saved up my money, and I was barbering at the time and still acting. I took a vacation to LA, and literally as soon as I got off the plane and I just breathed in the air, I knew exactly that this is the place I'm supposed to be. After the vacation, I moved back to Toronto for about 3 years, saved up all my money, and I just packed everything and I just moved down and I said, I'll figure it out when I get there. And I'd have to say the first 3 years there was probably the hardest, most challenging, one of the most challenging experiences I've probably ever experienced in my life. Not knowing anybody, not having any family, and just having to figure it out. But I was determined to be there and stay there. And now I've been here going on 26 years. I've been living in LA. Yeah.
Wow, that's. I mean, if a kid was born back then, that kid should be married by now. Uh, okay, so I noticed that you've also done some other Canadian shows. Can you talk to us a little bit about those, and then we'll move on to Bones and Ilias and Cracked.
Okay. One of the things that I think one of the mistakes I made when I first left Canada was I left Canada and I didn't even look back. But the industry in Toronto was not what it is today. So I was very hyper focused on starting over fresh in LA, getting an agent, and coming off of a TV series like Degrassi. I thought, okay, give me about 6 months, I'll figure it out, and I'll be right back to where I left off. Well, that 6 months turned into 3 years, did not even audition for one show. And by the time I did get back into the industry, the trials and tribulations of just figuring out that getting a job, getting a roof over my head, after bouncing from place to place, was even homeless for a little while in LA, where I ran out of money, didn't have anywhere to stay. And I ended up sleeping at a YMCA, and I would carry my luggages and hide them on top of the roof of the YMCA. And I did that for like about 3 weeks. All in the meantime, every time I'd be calling my mom on a calling card, yeah, mommy, I'm fine. Everything's good. I met this person. Yeah, and they know this person. Just because I didn't want her to worry. But when you're determined to do something and you know it's right, you know, I come from a very spiritual family, a very religious family, and just everything was faith, and that was what guided me through. And when I finally figured it out in LA and then started getting jobs, I literally had to start all over again by doing co-stars, which are shows where I had, anywhere from 3 to 7 lines. And that was a bit of a bump on my ego, but I knew it was what I had to do to get back into the whole LA industry and slowly build myself up. And then I found a good agent and then found my manager. And my manager was the key in getting me back into the whole Canadian acting scene, because being a dual citizen definitely worked to my advantage. And I give so much credit to my manager just for being able to see that vision.
Wow, that's loaded. Blaze, do you have any questions for Mr. Dayo Ade, TJ, and Fumilumade Yamito of Canada? Actually, when she knew you were coming on, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if he remembers me," but she's gonna get a chance to speak with you. And just, I mean, we like I said, we're here, relax, have fun, and hopefully release you before it's 1 a.m.
Okay.
Yes, so my name's Blaze. They call me Blaze, but I'm Olasheni Bokini from Lagos. Quick one. My question is this: how were you able to juggle acting and your personal life?
Wow, good.
The two different things.
Pardon?
So how were you able to juggle between your acting career and your personal life? That was number one. And number two, if it wasn't acting, what would you have done? Like, what career would you have chosen if there was nothing like acting?
Okay. It's funny you should ask about how do I juggle my personal life and my acting career. I actually treat them as two separate entities. I live my life and I focus on just surviving and being the best example and best role model for other young Black men and Black people, just to represent us in a positive light. As Nigerians, like, we've always had this, like, very not the best reputation, where, like, people like to associate us with, like, fraud and all these other, like, nonsensical things. But in the beginning, especially when I moved to LA, it was about getting back into the industry and taking whatever jobs I could take until I got to the position of where I could start saying no to certain roles. When I finally got my footing and I was able to build a stronger foundation here in the US, that was when I was able to start, like, differentiating that when I go for an audition, I literally put everything on my life on pause. I focus on the work that needs to be done, from character research, researching the show, who the producers are, who the casting directors are. And I overload with information, because information is power. I go in, I do the audition, and literally when the audition is done, I just unpause and I go back to my life. Because now I've done everything I can do and it's out of my hands. I don't have control of selecting whether or not I'm the person that they select for the job. So that's how I pretty much separate my personal life and my professional life. Until this day, that's how I still function. My wife knows that when I have an audition, literally, it's like, let's leave him alone, let him do the research and the work he needs to do. After the audition is done, we just go back to living our life. So I don't like to mesh the two. And especially with work. So going and just segueing into your second question. Being an actor, you make a lot of sacrifices. And what I came to figure out, especially when I moved here to the US, was I couldn't work a day job and continue pursuing acting, because a lot of people, they're waiters, they're bartenders, stuff like that. And that's not really my thing. I'm not about serving people, but I am in the service industry. So I worked a lot doing security, the hotel industry, doing night audits, because I'm really good with numbers. But I always made sure that I found jobs where I would work the night shift, so that when I get my auditions during the day, I could go do my auditions. And then at night, I just go to work. And I always made sure that my employers were flexible and they know that, listen, I moved to America to be like, to continue my acting career. I book a job that takes precedent over me doing even an overnight shift. They would have to find somebody to be able to cover my shifts. And a lot of them were very supportive, but there have been, more than 5 or 6 jobs where I booked a job and I had to go. They didn't want to give me the time off. So I had to quit and just keep it moving. So, but the other career choice that I would have had if I was not an actor, now knowing, and I'm already pursuing it, is producing and writing. Back then, it would have been a firefighter, which is something I've also dabbed in here in the US, but never fully went after, because their schedules totally conflict with each other.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. See, acting, like we all know, I'm not an actor, I'm more behind the scenes. But with any production, it takes time, it takes sacrifice, and most importantly, the support of your family. If you don't have a large family, if it's your better half, your spouse, your partner, like whoever is like close to you, like your neck bone, has to, everybody has to be on board with you, because it's not easy. Like it's a lot of like you said, there's the auditions that you have to go to, the times that you have to put in, even when you think, oh yes, I got it, like 100%, I got this position or this character, and then they call you back to say, oh no, you didn't get it. Another a question for you in that line is, have you ever gone for an audition for a particular role and then they called you back for something else, like within the same production?
Mm-hmm. Not to jump forward, but that actually happened with Bob Hart's Abishola. Your last guest, is it Tunde?
Tony. It was Tony.
Tony was on.
The pharmacist.
Yes. I actually auditioned for his role, and I had also auditioned for Bio's role, one of the employees at Max Dot. And I remember when I first auditioned for Bio's role, I was like, oh, I got this part. This is me. The character's name is Bio. My name's Dayo. Yeah, the whole Nigerian accent. Yeah. I got this, no problem. Did the audition, and I have a rule. If I don't hear anything within 48 hours, I let it go. I didn't get it. That's just how I function. So I don't drive myself crazy. But when I didn't hear anything, I was very surprised. I said, okay, fine, just leave it to the universe. But I think the audition put me on their radar. And this is the funny thing, when you don't work behind the scenes, you never know what's going on. I think they already had me in mind for the character that I did end up booking, which wasn't Tony's character, because I auditioned for that character too. Again, saw the breakdown. I said, yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely got this character. Did the audition, didn't get that part either. I was like, man, this show, man, these people don't know, man. I'm a real Nigerian, blah, 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 blah. And then finally, the third role came through to play, and I don't want to make any spoilers, but Abishola's husband. And when that role came through, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna just do the work and just put it out there and leave it, I'll just leave it in God's hands. And literally within like not even 12 hours, they were already called my agent. They had already started negotiating. And I think my look and my acting style more suited the storyline that they had already thought about and that they knew they were going to have to address, but they kept bringing me back. And yeah, so, rejection a lot of the times is a blessing, and it shouldn't be like, we shouldn't take it so personally, because this industry, if you don't have thick skin, you're going to grow it real quick, or you're going to end up dropping out of this industry, because it's all about rejection.
Wow. Okay. So it is possible, my darling actresses out there, you can audition for a role and you're going to be like, yes, I got this in the bag. And you're going to go back home and they're going to call you and say, nope, you're not the 20-year-old we're looking for. Go act a 40-year-old. I'm going to share another picture if I can get it up. Now, this picture really drew me in. This is yourself and Samuel L. Jackson in the movie Unthinkable back in 2010. Can you talk to us about that role and what it was like acting with Samuel L. Jackson?
This was one of the things I had on my bucket list. So when I auditioned for this part, and this is crazy because it's a movie, I auditioned for it, and then I didn't hear anything for almost 6 or 7 weeks. So I totally forgot about it. And by the time they did contact my representation, my agents back, they liked my performance so much that they had combined another character with the character that I auditioned for to make it a bigger role. So getting to work with Sam Jackson was like an amazing experience. And never putting a timestamp on any audition and just letting things be, like once you do the work, leave it to the universe, was probably one of the biggest lessons I learned with this project. It was an amazing project, telling an amazing story, working with an amazing actor. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. And yeah, and he likes to swear a lot. That I'll just say that because I know my mom's watching, so I'm not going to repeat. But we all know what his favorite word is. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Because when I saw that, I was like, what? But I mean, that's amazing. I'm proud of you on your behalf.
And you know what? And let me give everybody who, whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera, meeting him was like a big whoa moment for me. But us as Nigerians, we have to act like we already belong and we're supposed to be there. So one thing I don't do, I don't fan out. Like I don't get all excited when I meet people who I grew up watching on TV or who I've emulated their acting style or taken bits and pieces of what they do. We just have to remember that we've already done the work to be there in the room auditioning, to be there on set, booking the job and working with them. And you know, once you wrap the day and you're finished and you get in your car, then you can do your big song and dance and everything. But when you're in front of them, don't let them see that because you know you've done the work to be there. So you have to know that you belong is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give, not just the actors, but also even people behind the scenes, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Wonderful. So when I get to meet you in LA, I'll be like, yo, what's up, D? How you doing? I know you from like high school or something. Great, great, great. Okay. All right. So I picked something up when you were speaking. You said that you are producing and directing as well. And I know that one of the first time that I had contact with you, you were offering one-on-one sessions for actors or upcoming actors. Could you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. My because of COVID, you know, everybody, we all had to like adjust and we had to figure out new ways of making income. Like one of the things that I do is the Stella Adler theater company in New York. They have the sister company called the Art of Acting Studios here in LA. And I teach there. And I am the audition technique and the business of acting teacher. So those are the two main courses that I teach. When COVID hit, you know, everything went online to Zoom. And I had developed programs of where I would help other actors on trying to figure out like, you know, what their strengths are when it comes to auditioning and some of the baseline foundation things that us as actors are supposed to do. But a lot of the times we take shortcuts and those shortcuts end up hurting us when we get into the room auditioning. So that's why I teach audition technique, because literally my audition ratio is if I go out for 10 auditions, I'll get 9 or 10 callbacks. So I kind of know what I'm talking about as far as getting in the room and, you know, being able to get the casting and the producer and the writer and the director's attention and have them completely focused on me and then be one of the people who's always in the running. So I started doing a lot of one-on-ones because of COVID, where I would help coach other actors to find those things that are written in the script, but you have to find that are in between the lines. I also have a process that I use that I've created over the years of how I research and how I develop a character. And that's pretty much what my one-on-one acting courses or acting coaching classes are about, other than the fact that I also teach audition technique and the business of acting at the Art of Acting Studios.
All right, thank you for that. I know that it costs money to do that, but for the sake of our Black actors here, can
Yes.
you give us what it means to be called to audition and what are the things you have to take with you to your audition? COVID is here. It's going to go. COVID is going to go away. We're going to start seeing people in person. People are going to start seeing one-on-one, whether it's in a group or whatever. What are the things an actor has to have with them? Like, I'm going to audition. What do I need to bring with me?
Hand sanitizer. I would say, and it's funny you asked that because I just had this conversation with my manager a couple of days ago. What's funny is even when we do go back to in-person auditioning, I think this is the new norm, exactly what we're all doing here. I find that casting has found that auditioning actors, they get such a wide range of talent and people that they can now see that do their self-tapes, send them in. Then you can do a second audition via Zoom, because the callbacks or the final auditions is usually always based on the producer, the writer, the director, their time and their schedule. Bringing the best of the selection of the people who have auditioned for the role, I think will be the only part where we then get to start seeing each other, at least in the casting session, face to face. But I think the preliminary of the first initial auditions, I think a lot of it is going to be just like how we're doing this right now, is going to be on camera.
Okay, great. So for those of you that are here, just so you know, audition is going on. Pick your best forward. All right. So TJ had a question. So TJ, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So Dayo, I'm really impressed. Wow. I'm short of one. You understand me? You know, we are proud of you. Let me
What?
just put
TJ
it.
short words?
We are proud of you. Very, very proud of you and your success and your journey. And we hope to have more of you. You understand me, in our presence. You know. I just have a few questions. I'm not an actor. I'm a movie director, producer. Okay. And for those of us, because we have actors here, aspiring actors here, you know, and some actors they feel on set they think it is the work of the director to prepare them for a project. You understand me? But I tell them it is not the work of the director. You understand me? You as an actor need to prepare yourself, you understand me, and make the director's job easy. My job as a director is to direct, you have the skills, and that helps my creative vision, you understand me? You're able to interpret what I'm seeing. You get what I'm saying as a director, you know? So there has to be that connection between the understanding, collaboration between the actor and the director in trying to interpret what the story is about, the scene or whatever, you know? So how do you prepare yourself, you understand me? Or what advice do you have for upcoming actors here?
Okay, so to the first question, the two-part question of preparation of getting on set, it is never the director's job or responsibility for the actor to be prepared when they get on set. That's completely our job. The reason why they hire us or they've hired you to be on set is because of your preparation of what you did in the audition. You see, the person who they book from the audition is the person that they expect to show up on set. So all the work that you did preparing for the character, their backstory, what's going on in their world, and you creating a world for that character, that's who they hired. And that's who they expect when you get on set. If you think that, oh, now I got the job and now the director's supposed to make my life easier, then you're in the wrong game and you're fooling yourself, because it's everything about our industry is a collaboration. The director brings his creative vision from reading the script of how he sees the script playing out for the viewing audience who's going to be watching. Us as the actors, it's our job to create that character and make it a three-dimensional person that is not just a two-dimensional person on a page where you're just reading, oh, okay, now I'm sad, now I'm happy. You have to work on all the transitions of why, you know, and that's all part of the preparation of your audition technique, which is why I teach that course. But then at the same time, this is a business and time is money. And there's a reason why they say time is money. It's our job as actors to make the casting, the director, the producer, the writer fall in love with our work and our work ethic. In other words, make them fans of our work. When we show them that we can make their life easier, not only are they going to hire us for that job, but they're going to keep us in mind for every and any other job that they have coming down the pipeline. Because to them, they're like, this actor was so easy to work with. They came to set, they knew all their lines. They had all these great ideas and we collaborated together. They always got all of their scenes done in 2-3 shots and sometimes in one shot. and they made the life of everybody on set enjoyable. And instead of shooting a 12-hour day, we shot a 10-hour day, which is always a big thing. And people always remember that, because anybody who works on set, you know, our hours are usually from anywhere from 12 to 16, sometimes 18-hour days. The people who get there first are usually the people who leave there last. And when we can get on set, prepared, do our scenes that they have scheduled for 4 hours and do it in 2, I guarantee you, not only is the director and the producer happy that you're saving them money, because for them, it's all about money. It's all bottom line is that dollar. They're saving money. But for the crew, for the hair and makeup, for the wardrobe, for the locations people, for the guys who drive transportation, they're the first people there, they're the last people to leave. So them being able to go home early and see their families and spend time with them, you're building everybody's morale on set. And that is, I probably can say, is one of the biggest strengths you can have as an actor in this industry. And that will make other people fall in love with you for your talent, but also for your consideration of just always being professional and just being very time conscious, because time consciousness equals saving money.
Wow, noted. Also actors, what's up? Wow, that was that. Yeah, it's all about time. Time is money, and like you said rightly, anywhere any producer or director can or executive producer can save money is always a plus.
Yeah.
So collaborating with different vendors, even if it's an Airbnb that you can get for regularly $1,000 to shoot a movie or a scene, and you do a collaboration, whether it's putting their name on in the credits and then you get it for 200. Hey, why not, right? So Abimbola has
Second question, getting into
Oh.
character.
Getting into character.
That's very important for actors, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the getting into character, the work that you had done during the audition is the work that you should bring to every scene that you do every day you go on set. I usually I arrive as myself, and I've been doing it long enough that I can switch into character. It's like switching on a light switch for me. But it's different for everybody. Some people you have to really depending on how emotional the scene is, sometimes you'll need more time to prepare. But in between scenes, it's your job as the actor to know your character inside out. And getting into character is, for me, it's just taking some time to myself in my trailer or in my own safe space and really reviewing who this character is, what they're going through, what brought them to this exact point in time right now. And those are the emotions that I draw from in order to be able to deliver very realistic scenes. Like even in the scene where I was talking to my son as a police officer, I was just reflecting on certain conversations of things that I did when I was young and how my parents would talk to me. It would be about reflecting and really putting myself in their shoes. And now as an adult, understanding where they're coming from and transcending that into the character, into that situation as a police officer with a Black son in this day and age with so much social injustice. You know, you just keep adding layers upon layers upon layers. And then when you've done all that work and you finally get in front of the camera, just trust the process. You've already done the work. Let the camera catch naturally what it is that you're bringing to the screen as that character. That's how I work.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Abimbola Agunloye, I think you're next. You had your hand raised up.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's actually me, Tunde Agunloye. I'm using my wife's Zoom, so sorry about that.
You have to put on your video. Now you got to put on your video.
No, I'm not looking to. Okay, I'm not looking so presentable, but I'll put it on.
That's fine.
All right.
All right, there you go.
Sorry about that. It's an honor to have the opportunity to ask a question. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, along with the hosts and Mr. TJ. They are my big brothers and sisters. So I just want to ask you a question. I see you based on the discussion so far as somebody who is very, very experienced with regards to Hollywood productions. And I want to ask, based on your experience, do you think, because I'm not an actor, I'm more into the crew side of things,
Okay.
but sometimes I write scripts and I work with actors, and a lot of times when I get on set, I am just put off by behaviors of actors because I went to a film school, I have it in my head how a set should be like. And just walking into a set, I am able to determine these guys are serious, these guys are not serious, just by looking at one or two things. So I want to ask you, based on your experience, so that we'll tap into your own experience. Acting, is it a natural gift or it's something that you work on? So for example, if I was to go into acting, should I just have it at the back of my mind that I am a natural born actor, or it's something that I have to develop? I don't know if you understand my question.
Oh, I got you. I think it's a combination. And first of all, thank you for coming on camera. It's a pleasure to meet you too. And thank you for the question. It's a combination of both. Acting is something that can be taught, but it's something that you also have to already have inside of you. I've met a lot of people who are like, you know what, I'm going to become an actor. And I'm like, okay. But they don't realize all the hard work that you have to put into and the sacrifices you have to make to get to just the beginning phases of actually being able to say, oh, I'm an actor and I have an acting career. Here in LA, out of every 10 people you walk by, 9.5 of them, oh, I'm an actor, I'm an actor. But as soon as you ask them, oh, what have you been in? Oh, well, I did this school play, and I'm not knocking what anybody does, but it shows me, especially in this industry, how serious people take it. You're very, very right. And you hit the nail on the head about, you can tell if an actor is a serious actor once you go on set just by the way they carry themselves. There's a reason why certain actors are introverts, because when they're getting into their character, they take that seriously. This is a reflection of who they are. This is their career. This is what they've dedicated their life to. When I'm on set, I'm always happy. Always happy. I ask people about their families, how their night was, about their kids. Like, I get into deep personal conversations with people. But once I know we're about a couple of minutes away from the camera being ready to roll, I also have to be conscious of what I need for myself and to take that time to prepare and to make sure that I'm ready to do the work that I was hired to do. So long story short, just to answer your question directly, I don't think a lot of people are willing to do the work to be able to call themselves an actor, but they like the way it sounds when it comes out of their mouth. And I think more people are chasing the fame and the money than they are the passion behind doing the work to become an actor. Because I can almost guarantee you, I know a lot of people, if they really knew the details of my journey, they'd be like, oh, hell no. If I knew the details of what my journey was going to be, I probably would have told myself, oh, hell no. So yeah, it's different with every person. Some people naturally have that talent, but at the same time, even no matter how natural your talent is, it's something you still have to work on. No matter how great of an actor or actress you are, you always have to leave room for learning, because life is about growth, and so is acting. It's about growing.
I understand that sometimes there are speech coaches on set for accents, depending on whatever role they've casted someone to be. Can you speak a little bit to that? And I have two people who've raised up their hands, and I'll get to you. I just want to get this question answered. Thank you.
Yeah, because sometimes in this industry, they'll hire somebody who looks a certain role, but they're not but they're not authentic to the character that they're looking to represent. Like, perfect example, they'll hire somebody who is Caribbean to play somebody who's African, but then they need an accent coach to help them with the African accent. or actually a better example is in America, and this happens all the time, they'll hire an American to play a Jamaican, and they have the worst Jamaican accents, to the point we call them Jafakins. We're like, yeah, man, everything Irie. And it's like, I can't roll my eyes hard enough when I hear those kind of phony accents, when there are a lot of talented Jamaican, like Caribbean actors who can do the accent and can do the work. Is that answer the question as far as
Yes,
yeah,
it does.
okay, yeah.
Somebody else to speak. Question here from one of our guests. Junior Skeletal wants to know, must you get a formal training before you become an actor? Must you get formal education before you become an actor?
The best answer to that is yes. I like people to learn the business of acting, so you know what you're getting yourself into before you dive into the actual. Oh, there's Mommy. Hi, Mommy. Hi, Sharon. And who's that behind? Who's that in front of? Oh, is that Jumi? Hi, Jumi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Baba.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. Are you in Toronto? We'll be coming over for jollof rice.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I introduce myself to everybody's family. Jollof rice is the thing.
Yes.
All right.
Do you guys see Bonatunde? He's right there.
Yeah, that's Baba today.
Okay. So yes, no, I think people should always, the best way to get into this industry, to make sure it's something you want to do without spending so much money and then realizing that this isn't for you, is to learn the business of this acting industry. A lot of people come into this industry thinking they want to become an actor, but you need to leave yourself open to other possibilities, because not all of us are meant to be in front of the camera. A lot of us actually will, if we leave ourselves open to the possibilities, we'll find out that there are other things within this industry that will actually feed that flame of passion of being in this industry. And what I've come to realize and recognize is acting is my love, but producing is also one of my biggest passions. And producing, writing, directing at some sort, but next for me is going to be acting and producing, almost neck and neck, because I want to start giving the opportunities that I was afforded or that I had to fight to get, and make those opportunities more available, so people don't have to go through the same struggles or go through the same obstacles that I had to go through just to get to where I am today and where I'm going tomorrow and the days after that. So yeah, acting classes is a great way, but also do your research, make sure it's a good acting class, because a lot of these places, it's more of a business than they are teaching you the art and the craft. But also look for places that teach you the business. This industry is expensive. It's not cheap, and it's more expensive as far as your time and then money. If you're not willing to sacrifice your time, I guarantee you're not going to be willing to sacrifice your money. And it's going to take a lot of both. So yes.
I'm going to go to Adeba. She has a question.
Yes. Hello. Hi, Dayo. Hi, everybody.
I'm good. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Okay. So earlier you mentioned how you're grateful for your mom for supporting your dream and pushing you and knowing what you wanted to do when it comes to the acting gig career. So how do I direct this question? What do you think your mom saw for her to push you and motivate you, to go to that direction? Because, as a child, even though you have a hobby or you want to do something, but sometimes you're tired or you're lazy, you don't want to do it. So for your parent to keep pushing you towards that direction, hoping that, of course, it pays way later in the future, but not wanting to push the child in the direction that maybe it was just a thing that they liked when they were 12 and 13, they no longer like it, but you still want to push and motivate that child to continue to put in the hard work, hopefully pays off later. So my question now is, how do you know as a parent or as a child that this is something that, you know, the child, the parent should continue to push that child towards that direction and not maybe relax later and say, oh, he's not interested anymore, maybe because he's just being lazy. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand my question.
Oh no, I get you. That's a great question because with mummy's always been, till this day, is very attentive, not just with us, but even with her grandchildren. A lot of the times we don't give kids in our lives enough credit of how smart they are, and that sometimes they know more than we give them credit. Mummy saw that in me, and she didn't have to push me so hard as much as I was always ready to go. And sometimes, actually all the time, especially when I'm young, and this is why I give all credit to Mummy, and Mummy always gives all credit to God, is the sacrifices that Mummy made, working 2-3 jobs at a time with 3 young kids, daddy off working. Mummy would always find a way to get me to positions, no matter what. And the way we're raised in our culture, we're raised to appreciate hard work, because that's all we watch our parents do. That's what I watch my cousins do. I've been surrounded by nothing but people who work hard. So that's the work ethic that I've grown up developing for myself. And I don't think it was something that Mummy had to push me to work hard at. It was something that I saw them doing, so I did the same thing. Kids in this day and age are a little bit different. They have so much more opportunity. And I think, again, we have to listen to them. But then because they have so much more opportunity, we also have to make them earn. So I'm trying to find a smart way to say this. We have to show them discipline. Like, they have to show us that, you know what, this isn't going to be something that, oh, in the next 6 months, you don't want to do this anymore. And I've invested all this time and all this money. And now, oh, I don't want to be a basketball player anymore. Now I want to be a baseball player. And then 6 months down the line, I don't want to be a baseball. Now I want to be a hockey player. I think it's in the way that we discipline the kids and we show them that if this is what you really want to do, show me and prove to me that this is what you want to do. So it's not just about, yes, okay, you want to do it? Okay, we're going to do it. Give them more chores. Make them do stuff around the house to be able to prove to you that they can time manage themselves and be more adult-like in order for you to invest your time and your money into them. I think the best example is like when a child wants to get a puppy or they want to get a pet. Who really ends up taking care of the pet? It's usually the parents. But we have to show them that getting a pet is not just about that initial, oh my God, I have a dog. But then when it's time to feed the dog, take the dog on a walk, take the dog to the vet and do all those things, we have to make them do it and realize that there are responsibilities and there are consequences for the choices that you make. So long story short, I think it's listening to the kids, but also making them show and prove to us that they really want to do and that they're passionate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's follow.
Thank you so much for that. Do we have any more questions? DJ has a question. Oh, I think Kia, I think family members have a question. Ovi Purple, thank you for joining us. I see you, I cite you. Thank you, Deborah, all our bag members who are here. I hope you're getting a nugget or two. And I'm going to be quizzing you at the end of the event. So get your pens and papers ready.
Hi, Shell.
Hi.
How are you? Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. So my question is, like, when you're like doing like the movies and when you have to like say stuff, like how do you remember like all of your lines that you have to say for like the whole movie, like without like looking back at the sheet or something?
Great question.
Question from a youth. I love.
Well, thank you for the question. That's a great question. A lot of the times when we read the scripts, they're anywhere from 50 or 60 pages. to 120 pages if it's a movie. As an actor, I don't have to memorize the entire script all at one time. What I do is I memorize what I know I have to shoot for that day, and I start preparing what I have to shoot for the next day. So if you're one of the leads, you're pretty much in almost everything. So you're memorizing 3, 4, 5 scenes, however many scenes they have for the day. I memorize all those scenes so I'm prepared when I get on set. And in between my breaks, I'm always working on the next set of scenes for the following day. So I'm always at least a couple of steps ahead. So that's how I come prepared for work every day. And I have the script memorized, but loosely memorized. And I like to work on the hardest scenes even before we even get to shooting. So I always like to prepare what I have to shoot for the day and start preparing what I have to shoot for tomorrow the day before.
Thank you so much, my young uprising. I don't know what you want to become, but I know that you're going to be a great person in life. I just by that question. Thank you so much. People are asking for the link to your one-on-one coaching sessions. So if you don't mind, just dropping it in the comment section so we can share that with the group. And that way we can get, I think more people are trying to get in touch with you, trying to see how well they can work with you or something. So,
okay. Can I send that to you afterwards?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, so don't forget my question.
Definitely. So guys, I got the link. I got the hookup. So next time becoming my best friend to get the information. Just kidding, guys. Okay, TJ, Moko, I'm coming to you. Ovi Purple, you're always on our lives. Thank you for your time. TJ, jump right in.
All right, yeah. That question from the last, the young lady, that was an amazing question. Very important, you know. Yeah. So thank you for that question. My next thing is I have a question and I have a kind of a proposal. You understand me? For just in line with what the question that they asked about your program, what you're offering online, you know. We will be working with you, the guild and yourself, you know, on how we can have a program for actors, aspiring actors, so that it will be an ongoing thing, you understand, so they can register, and let's have, we need to bring as much training as possible to our actors, you understand me, you know. Yeah. And given the fact that you are from here, you understand me, who is in LA, it'll be inspiring and it will be helpful, you understand me, you know. So yeah. we'll be working with you and try to set up a program, since you already have it, so it's much easier. So, and for us to do the groundwork and get more of the applicants here to just log in and then they go ahead with it. You understand? Maybe from time to time we have you, once the life is back to normal, we have you in person. You understand me? And so they can really see the real, feel and feel you. You understand me? You know? Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we'll be working with that follow and you know, going forward. Then my question is about monologue. What we do, we have monologue sessions for the actor. I've always told actors that you cannot be too big. You cannot be bigger than saying, "Oh, I've arrived. I don't need to do monologue anymore." Usually, it helps you as an actor. You understand me? You know. And in this case, when you have a situation whereby you have directors who are ready to go through your monologue and give you review feedbacks and try to guide you on what, I think it's best to take that advantage. You understand me? You know. I went to the Toronto Film School, like Tunde he mentioned, the same film school I went to. And in my time, I was the only Black person in class. You understand me? You can imagine how challenging that was. You understand me? I didn't have all this opportunity that is out there now, you know. But my experience, not having all this opportunity, is what has inspired me to start to create this opportunity for others. You understand me? You know, just because I didn't have that, don't mean I have to be selfish and I've arrived. I just need to do it for myself. No, I believe in let's help others. Let us get there together. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. You know? So I want you to chip in on your opinion on what the need for monologue and why is it important for actors to keep doing monologues and why?
I would say find one specific monologue that really speaks to you, that you have an attachment to, that helps showcase your strengths, and always keep that in your back pocket, ready to do it at any point and at any time. The one monologue that I used to do, and I don't even have it in my head anymore, was Samuel L. Jackson in A Time to Kill, when he was in court and they were questioning him on the stand, and he just burst out and he wished death on the guy who had kidnapped and raped his daughter. It's something that has to showcase who you are as a human being, how quickly you can transform into that character, and it's something that works for you. I recommend to all actors, it doesn't have to be a full page or even half a page, even if it's something that's like about 20 to 30 seconds, something that really showcases your talent and your ability and your process of being able to get into character. A monologue is always a great tool to have in your back pocket and in your arsenal. Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Blaze, do you have anything? Anyone else have any questions? Because I'm about to play something, or you know me and the playing all the videos. Any questions? Don't be shy. Now's the time to ask, actually.
So, well, my question is this, because there's always a first time to everything, you know. Like, how did you feel when you got your first role?
I was happy. I was just, it was about, because it was such, I started really young. I started, I think, around somewhere between 11 and 12. I started off doing modeling for, you know, catalogs and flyers and stuff like that. But it was about making my mom and my dad and my family happy and making them proud. Them being proud of me made me happy and gave me more fuel to continue going after this career. And I think that's what I was referring to back earlier when I said a lot of people are in this industry for the wrong reasons and they're chasing fame or they're chasing money. If you're in this for the passion, or if it's fueling something other than money or money or fame, and you're coming from a whole place, you'll find success. It's just that success is not right around the corner. It's a journey. So yeah, my fuel was the pride of me working, even till this day. Every time I book something, the pride that how proud it makes my mom and my family. They get together and they watch Bob Hart's Abishola, and they get to see me in a role representing all of us here. And you know, that makes me proud. When one of you tell me that I make you proud, that is what fuels me to continue doing what I'm doing. And it's as of probably the last couple of years, or last 2 years or 3 years, I did my last role that I will ever play a criminal, unless it's something really, a really, really good character that has a great story. But I made a conscious decision after the George Floyd of what happened here in the US, that I'm not playing any more characters who are in handcuffs, who are criminals, who are being shot by the police. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm so far past that, that now I need to take on that personal responsibility of reflecting us in a better light. And that's a very conscious decision that I had the conversation with my agents and managers. But until you get to that place, you do what you need to do to keep advancing your career. But when you finally get there, stick to your decision, and you'll benefit from it, and it'll pay off. Yeah. So yeah, I do what I do for my family, because I carry my family's last name, not just mine, but the Dayo Ade's, there's so many of us. Just anybody who's Nigerian, anybody from our continent. I want to be a positive reflection of who we are.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Ovi.
Yes. Okay, my question goes like this. Have you ever been rejected as a Black actor for any role? And if you were, how did you handle the situation?
Okay. I've been rejected a lot. all caps, capital A, capital L, capital O, capital T, a lot. How I deal with it, their loss. They just let the best actor for the role go. And if they want to hire somebody who's second best, then that's their prerogative. But I know what I bring to, I know what I bring to the screen. I know what I bring to the set. I know the energy that I bring. I bring more than just what you see on screen. What happens behind the screen and the way I was raised, the kind of energy that I'm bringing for everybody who's working on that production. I bring more than just what they see in the final cut. And I don't take anything personally. Rejection is part of this industry. If you don't have thick skin, you will have thick skin if you continue pursuing this career. So yeah, rejection is just part of the game.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. And remember, there's one thing I learned from one of my acting coaches is you are enough, period, point blank. If they don't see it, well, that's for them to get to that place, but you are always enough.
Wonderful. Wow. Even myself, I'm going to go and redo all my notes and write a book on just this session alone. It's been loaded. It's been fun for me. I've learned a lot more than I bargained for. I don't know if everybody else feels the same way. Some people just joined us this evening, so I'm sorry we can't reverse. But if you have any questions for Mr. Dayo Ade before I close with, of course, I know why a lot of us are here tonight. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, let's see. I know he's extremely busy. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to jump right into the wrap up for the night. And then if you have any questions, I will drop
in. Quick one. Okay. I would start by asking you a question before I move on to the next one. So my first question is this. This will lead to the next one. Do you watch Nollywood movies?
Yes, but not as much as I should. And I can't wait to get into Nollywood. I have so much I want to do, so many stories I want to tell, but the journey of getting there has been evading me. But I know with doing sessions like this and opening myself up to other Nigerians here in the US, I know it's just a matter of time. I never try to force anything. I let things happen organically. Mommy raised me with this saying, God's time is the best time, because when God blesses you with it, no man can take it away. So when it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. But I'm ready. I stay ready. Yeah.
All right. So that will. So if that's the case, then because what we're looking at is we're looking. I know a couple of Nigerian actors, like a lot of Nollywood actors, that this is their dream. They're also looking for a collaboration where they can actually collaborate with Hollywood. You understand? That's your dream. Regardless of how famous they are back home, they still want this dream. You understand? So what do you think, in all the movies you've seen so far, what do you think the producers and directors can do to actually better their production?
The thing is, the production quality, and I see the hands, so we're coming. Trust me, I'm not going anywhere until all questions are asked. So I'm gonna stay. I'm enjoying myself as much as I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. The quality of Nollywood, right now it's Hollywood, then Hollywood North, which is what they call Canada, Hollywood North. Bollywood just has money, but the content that's coming out of Nollywood is great. There are so many people here in the US who are not of African descent, who aren't even Black, who watch Nollywood movies, and Netflix jumped on that because they saw the potential in Nollywood movies. If producers in Nigeria were to invest back into their productions and reach out to other African actors like myself in Canada, in the US, I know they reach out to ones in the UK, but I don't think that they try hard enough to find us in the US. I've been wanting to do Nollywood stuff. This is something I've spoke about with my younger sister, Dr. Temi Talkby. She's been on me about Dayo. You need to start doing. I'm like, well, when they come knocking, I'm ready. Just reach out. Even if somebody says no, the opportunities, like you don't know who it is that is already ready to do the work with Nollywood. producers, writers, directors. I've seen a lot of great things on Netflix. And the first Nollywood movie was actually nominated in the Oscars. I think it was last year or 2019. We have the potential, we have the talent. We just have to really like go after the people who we know are ready to do it. And listen, I understand Yoruba perfectly. I can do the accent. I can't speak Yoruba perfectly, but I am a quick learner. And because I understand it, as long as I have the right voice, like, coach to like, feed me the lines, and I will do the work and it'll be authentic. So Nollywood, whenever you're ready, I'm here waiting.
All right, over to you, Follow.
Oh, sorry about that.
Any other question?
Yeah,
I see Anthony Ujebode. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
That's my big cousin, Baratunde.
Hey, Dayo. So I just want to say a few things. Dayo, I love you. I'm extremely proud of you. I just heard you said, hearing your family tell you how proud they are of you, it fuels you. Well, I'm about to overload your fuel right now. I'm extremely proud of you, and I'm so glad to be part of the journey for you. Um, and there's one thing I learned even from you, you might not realize it. Dio that you're looking at right here taught me about perseverance. Dio never gave up. Even when things were low, at his lowest time, he was still very optimistic. He never gave up. And I learned a lot, from him, especially on that. Throughout his journey from New York to New Jersey to LA, back to Canada, back to LA, he never gave up. And I'm so proud of you.
He's the one who took me in. This is the one who I lived with him for over a year when I moved to New York. So he knows.
So for everyone on this program, never give up. Don't give up. Just stick with your dreams. When you hear all the no's, that's now someone asked a question that, how do you deal with rejection? Well, just like Dayo said, don't give up, because that's exactly what I saw Dayo did. So I just want to say that and let you know how proud of you that I am.
Thank you, cuz I love you, man.
I love you.
All right, we also have someone here is so care. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Dayo. My name is Sophia. Sorry, I have been in a meeting that actually took longer than really expected.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out some technical things because I have a presentation tomorrow. So we're just doing all the back technical issues to make sure we have a smooth event. And it took longer than expected. So I'm really kind of tired. I'm exhausted. Something that was just
welcome.
Minute. So I really missed quite a bit of your presentation, and I will first and foremost say thank you. I really applaud you taking the time out to come here and be among your people. Because I've seen a lot of people that get to that place, they think they're just too big. They can associate Nollywood is not, it's not good enough for them. They think they're already in Hollywood and that's where it should be. So when I see people like yourself, the other day we had Tony, it was an amazing time we had with him too. We learned a lot, and we also gained a lot from just hearing his experience. And I don't think yours is going to be that different as well. It's, we all understand how the journey is. To get into Nollywood, it's a little bit hard. So when you compare Nollywood to Hollywood, you can almost tell how interesting that journey will look like. Speaking about connecting with Nollywood, I think we do have directors, Nollywood directors. Some of them relocated to the States. They're in the States now. And they're really ready to work with anyone who's available, who is ready, who is a true Nigerian and African that really want to connect back. Because you come in with something into the industry. There are things that you will bring into the industry that you already know. You already know the rigors, you know the in and out of Hollywood. So you come in with a lot to help also build your own, because Nollywood is yours. It's yours. That's home, no matter what it is. And you're coming in, you're bringing substance. So I think there are a lot of producers that will be interested, excited to want to work with you. That I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you right now. And I'm happy that I'm hearing this. Trust me, I came late, but I'm happy that I'm hearing this because I am also a producer myself, and I'm an actor and a producer. So I'm excited to hear this from you, because it's not like we're hearing this from a third party saying, oh, there's one actor, Dayo, he's ready. We're hearing it from you.
Yep.
You're saying, I am ready. I'm ready to do the work, whatever it takes to be part of my culture, part of my community, part of my people. I am ready to put in the work. So I salute you for that humility, because it takes a lot. It takes a very humble person to come out and say, I'm ready to put in the work. So you're not coming on your high horse to say, oh, you guys already know. You've seen me. You see where I am already. This. So I must, quickly applaud you for that. And I say, I will let my friends that are producers back home know that somebody's ready and he's just a stone throw.
Thank you.
Anytime, any day. So.
All right, so let's have TJ quickly. TJ.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I just in regards to Nollywood, like you said, I'm glad you're interested in being part of, wanting to be part of Nollywood and the journey of Nollywood. So the purpose of this is one of the purpose of why we have the guild as well. You understand me? Is to bridge, kind of be the bridge. You understand the between here and for those who are interested to be part of Nollywood as well. You understand me? We have that link. I'm a filmmaker, like I said, a producer, director. I've worked with a number of Nollywood actors like Jackie Appiah, Desmond Elliott, Beverly Naya, and all that on my project. And also I also, because I've had that experience and I know the challenges it is, you understand me, to break in, to get there, and I know what I went through. And I said, we need to do something for those of us in the diaspora, especially here in Canada. How can we make it easy? Which is the reason why I am doing the things that I am doing, you understand me, and making it possible. We have I have a distribution company in Nigeria, which I found with somebody there to release movies from here right into the cinemas there. You understand me? So these are some of the things that we are doing. So it makes it easy. And I am a founder of two festivals: the Toronto International Nollywood Film Festival and the International Black and Diversity Film Festival. And the Toronto International Nollywood Film Festival has given that exposure of what we are doing there in Nollywood, so they know about what we are doing, here. I can say the new, they did an election recently. They have the new Producers Guild, which is the lady Peace who owns AMA Award, and the new Directors Guild of Nigeria. He actually called me and we had a conversation about how we can collaborate, you understand me? So getting our actors here to Nollywood, I don't think should be difficult, you understand me? Because you have people like myself here. You have Isake who just spoke. She has produced a couple of movies, working with Nollywood actors there, you understand? So it's easy. We are here to make it easy for those of you who are in Hollywood but yet have that, your heart is in the right place. You still say, you know what, let me see what I can do for my background. Yeah, so we're here to collaborate with you and others, you understand me, so yeah, I just want to let you know that's what the guild is about, you understand me? We expand, we reach other places as well. Thanks.
I'm looking forward to it. Trust me, like I said, I'm ready, and I'm looking forward to the collaborations, man. We'll do it the right way and set great examples for others who want to do it, so that they realize, number one, it can be done, and number two, there's a right way of doing it, so that it doesn't turn off other Nigerians from wanting to come and join Nollywood, because this is an industry that it's our responsibility to build it. There's a lot of Nigerian actors out there who are doing great, but they get to, like you said before, they get to such a high stature that money dictates a lot for them. But if you bring quality, I don't know of any actors who, if the right script, the right story comes across their table, that they'll take it to somebody who then can, also help take it to another level. You know what I mean? That's what I'm personally working on myself, is trying to rub elbows with those people. But at the same time, like I said, I'm ready to do the work with my people to tell our stories.
Thank you so much.
All right, so Dixon, I think you have a question. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi.
Hi, Kia. That's my niece. Hi, Jum.
Hi. So my question is basically that I watched a lot of shows that people have had to act as best friends or had to act as lovers even and stuff. And later I would find out that those two actors actually don't like each other in real life. So my question is, have you ever had to work with somebody that you didn't like, and how do you create the chemistry with them if you don't like them?
Great question, and thank you, Jimmy. Yes, that's very real. I'm not going to mention any names, just out of respect and professionalism, but a TV series that I did shoot recently being a couple years ago, the lead actor and the number two actor didn't get along. I'd always heard about these situations, but never experienced it myself. And watching them butt heads and how it affected the entire production. We spoke about this earlier, how I said the energy you bring onto set, your preparation, all of that affects from the top and it trickles down. The number one was very professional. The number two, also very professional, but number two thought that they had more say or more power than number one because they were aligned with one of the producers. Long story short, on camera, they had great chemistry. But when we got to season 2, they fired number 2 and replaced that person. And they fired the producer who was one of the creators and brought in a new producer. So when I say that it's really important about the energy that you bring and the professionalism that you bring on set, people don't have time to deal with other people's issues, because when you're on set, it's about time is money. Every minute that you're burning a couple thousand to a couple tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Equipment costs money. Renting locations, the actors cost money. food, preparation, everything costs money, and the employees have to be paid. So people who can't put their personal issues aside and do the work that is in front of them and what they're hired to do will not have a long career in this industry. I've seen it happen for myself with my own two eyes, and I thank God I don't get into that mess. I come there to do my work. If I'm not a fan of yours, you won't even know that I'm not really a fan of yours, because we don't need to have a personal friendship outside of work. And that's how I keep my private life private and my professional life professional.
All right, so Babatunde, I believe you have a question. I'll go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. So my respect, my regard for Dayo just went like 20 notch up now, because I want to announce to everybody that there's a movie I never knew. So you were the main guy in Cinema of Sleep?
Yeah.
My God. Guys, there's a movie that is coming out soon. It's not yet out. I was very fortunate to be one of those who was invited for feedback with Jeff. Jeff invited me.
Oh, Jeff invited? Oh.
Yeah, so I was able to watch it. It's a Nigerian family. I'm not going to say anything because it's just in the festival runs now.
Yeah.
Nigerian family. I've never seen a story told that way before. Especially the part where you and the girl were kissing. The girl from, is it Ethiopia or somewhere, Eritrea? It's amazing. I don't want to talk too much. Miss Folu, Mr. TJ, Mr. Blaze, is it possible? I know this is for actors now, but I've looked at some of the movies he's done while everybody was talking, and I see that he has a lot of experience. Like I'm interested in slasher movies. You know, I want to see everybody in Nigeria is talking about romantic comedy. I'm not interested in that. That's why I've not watched Abisola and Bayo. I don't know what I've not watched that.
It's good.
I know, but I'm not. If there's no blood in the comedy, there has to be blood in the comedy for me to watch.
It's invisible.
And that's because I'm training myself in something that is not common in Nigeria, right? So I watch a lot of horror films, a lot of slasher stuff. And is it possible, because I see that you also did Isabel, you and Isabel as the father, the priest, right?
Yeah.
And so you may have seen some things that some of us are not privy to, because these are movies done in Hollywood at the highest level.
Well,
and in Toronto, okay. I have a lot of technical questions, but they are not related to acting.
Okay.
They are more related to how what do you call it? Special effects are created, how actors are prepared for stabbing, how actors are prepared, how you react to those kind of scenarios. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but it has really nothing to do with acting. It's more on the technical side, what the directors did, how it was shot. Did they shoot it in the day? Did they shoot it at night? What kind of light did they use? So I don't know if you guys can organize something like that for we who are more technically inclined, to ask people like that, because based on the movies I've seen him do, he has a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I have. He does, especially Cinema of Sleep, guys, is going to shake Nollywood. It's going to shake Nigeria. Trust me. I was chatting with Jeff today, and Jeff was asking me about what festival we can put it on in Africa, and I gave him some recommendations. Once it comes out, guys, there's no Nigerian movie like that. I'm not joking. And that is the standard for Nollywood. That should be the standard for Black movies.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We worked hard. When we shot that in 2018, we shot in Winnipeg. And from the time I read that script, I knew right away. I said, I have to be a part of this project. It's a Nigerian man about a Nigerian family, and him wanting and doing whatever he has to do to give his life a better family. We all know that story.
And you will not know the guy is dead until the end.
You can't.
I can't say it. I'm sorry.
No, they have to watch.
They have to watch it. I can't say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so happy to have met you today. I really am.
Yeah.
I really am.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
All right, so we have Austin here. Austin Odije Digi. Can you go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question?
Yeah, so thank you, please. I want to say a very big thank you to Dayo Ade for coming on in to speak, and to the organizers as well. So, my name is Austin Odigie,
Can we see
member
your
of
face, Austin?
Austin. Yep.
We see your face.
Oh, okay. I'll try. This place is. I'm just using my phone and running away from the kids.
Oh, trust, we understand. That's all good.
I'm sure you do. All right. We're good. Yeah.
What's up, man? What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. When I saw the flyer, so I had to do a quick search. Most have also seen some of your movies. And I'm happy to be speaking with you. So Austin Odigie is my name, member of the Black Film Guild of Canada. I'm in Ottawa, and I'm also a member of the Directors Guild of Nigeria. So so also doing an Hollywood film, and sure something is coming. Is in the pipeline. So at some point, my internet was, I was coming and going and coming, and I don't know if anyone has put this question to you. I like to know what defines the role or the script Dayo Ade would not accept. And again, what defines the kind of script or role that you would readily want to take on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. First of all, great question, and thank you, Austin, for coming on the camera. Hi, Bubba Laura. I saw Mama Laura walk by. Another part of my journey, big part of my journey. Good to see you. My biggest thing when it comes to accepting work, it's not money. I'm not saying I'll work for free, but it's not money. It's how much preparation has gone into the production. When we shot Cinema of Sleep, it's not a big budget film. It's the story that grabbed me, and it's the story that I knew I had to tell because I witnessed my mother, my father, my cousins, Baba Laura, Mama Laura. As a child, I watched them and all the sacrifices they made. And as a child, I didn't understand it then, but as a grown man now, I understand it. And this was the perfect opportunity and a character that was so beautifully written where I could show and showcase them and put the spotlight on all the sacrifices they'd made for us, our generation, and the generations coming after us. As long as the production value, the production, like it's good cameras, they've invested the money in the right places, and it's going to be something of quality. That's where we can then really sit down and have a discussion. Because listen, anybody with technology now, iPhone, you can shoot a movie with the iPhone, but I'm not going to go onto a set and shoot a movie with the iPhone, because then what you're telling me is you haven't invested your time or your resources or put in the work to do and get the right production value. And I'm not saying it has to be some big budget Hollywood. I'm not saying that either. It's always about the story for me. But just like how I've put in the work and I've shown my people that I want to be a representative for all of us, the people who want to hire me have to show me that they've done the work and they've invested not just the money, but their time, and find the best people, the best camera person, if they can get them. If they can't, get the next best person. That they've got other actors who are passionate about what they do. So that by the time we all finish doing the work and it gets to the editing room, that the work we've put into this, our blood, sweat, and our tears, people will not be able to refuse and not watch it and not be walking away without their emotions grabbing their heart, making them feel something. The work that I do, it's about making the person who's watching me on screen feel what I'm feeling, what the character's feeling, and what they're going through. It's always about the quality of the production, of the script, of the people who they've attached to the script. That's what will draw me in. because I'm all about doing research. I research everything. I get an audition, I'll research who the writer is, who the director is going to be, what other stuff they've done before. If I can find other things that they've done online, I'll go and I'll watch it for production value. I'll see what kind of angles they like to shoot from. I'll see what kind of stories they like to tell, what their strong points, what their weak points are. I get all this information, and that's what I use to be able to go into auditions and leave people's jaws on the floor. But I also do my research about the people behind the camera to see who they are, where they're coming from, and what they're shooting for. And as long as our goals are aligned and we're all shooting for the same thing, then we can definitely open up the lines of communication and have discussions, and we can go from there. Hi, Mama Laura. I hope that answered your question, Austin.
All right.
Blaze, for any other questions.
All right, we have Deborah here. She has questions. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, good night, Dayo and everyone. I don't have a question. I just want to say I'm not Nigerian. I'm not African. I'm from the Caribbean. I'm Trini.
You're
but
still
I just,
family. Oh, don't worry. I can do the Trini accent too. Again.
Oh, Lord, look at that.
I can do that one too.
That's a good one. So I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to just share with us. I am just getting into it. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet and getting into the business. And this is really good, hearing a lot of your stories and stuff. I think I've seen you in that one clip that she showed earlier as a police officer. So I know you from there, but this is really nice. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. That's all I have to say.
It's my pleasure.
All right, have a good night.
Okay.
All right, Ovie Popo, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
So, hello, Dayo.
Yes.
I have one last question. This is going to be my last question.
Okay.
This is for script writers. This question is for script writers. I just want to know, what advice do you have for a script writer that is, should I say, afraid of releasing a script because maybe some other people who catches the script, they could read it and then just dump it, and later on they just say, oh, that script was a great idea, we can take it up and transmute it into something else, and then at the end of the day go shoot the movie, and then they put the writer aside, the original writer is put aside. What advice do you have for writers to keep their work safe from being poached?
That's a great question. Very, very great and a very important question. I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice. As a writer, an aspiring writer, one of the first pieces of advice I was given was write every day. That's the only way you're going to get better, number one. So I've taken that to heart. I write and I rewrite and I rewrite the rewrite and continue rewriting until I get to a place where I'm proud of what I have. But at the same time, if you don't share what you create with others, it'll never be shared with the world. There's the fear of other people stealing your work. But what's funny about this industry is that everybody has something of their own that they want to work on. And you'd be surprised how hard it is to get other people to actually work on your project because they have their own stuff they want to do. Getting financing for things that are written and getting them to production is not easy. And I'm learning that now because it seems like my journey has always been, I always learn things, not necessarily the hard way, but I haven't had the assistance of family and friends and people in my inner circle in this industry. I haven't had that. I've always had to fight for everything that I've gotten to where I am now. To answer your question directly, as far as protecting your, we call them IPs, your intellectual property, there are two ways that I would suggest for you to protect it so you feel comfortable sharing it with other people. There's one way called the poor man's copyright. And that's where you put your script into an envelope, you seal it, send it in the mail to yourself. And when you receive it, you never open it, because then it has gone through the postal system and it has the government seal stamp date of its travels. So if anybody was ever to, so if you were to then share that with somebody else and they steal content from your script, you have a legal basis that when you take them to court, you hand that in as evidence. And when they unseal it during your trial case, you have proof to show that this is your content. You are the one who created this. That's number one. And they call that the poor man's copyright. The second way that I would say to protect your material is within Canada and within the US, because I'm very familiar with North America. These are the two playing fields that I'm most active in. You can go to the Writers Guild of Canada or the Writers Guild of America. You go online and you submit your project to them, and they keep it in their vault digitally or like a hard copy. They keep it for 5 years, and I think they charge anywhere between $25 and $50 to copyright it, and it's copywritten for 5 years. They then give you a certificate to show that you own that intellectual property. This is your script, you wrote it, and that's good for 5 years. If nothing has been done with that in 5 years, whatever revisions or edits you make within the 5 years, you resend that in at the end of that 5-year period, and you re-copyright it through the Writers Guild of Canada or the Writers Guild of America. So those are the two ways that I know of to protect material that you write and create.
Thank you very much. Dixon, back to you. We have questions from family. All right, Dixon, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Kia, Jumoke.
No, Babatunde wants to.
Oh, Babatunde, okay.
Hello.
Hi, that's the winner of the game, Masim, right there. Hey, boy.
My question is, what was the hardest role that you've done when you were acting?
Oof. Great question. And this is a funny and a crazy story at the same time. I did a show called CSI New York in mid 2000s or late, like 2000, like 2007, 2000, it's somewhere around there, where he was a bad guy. It was 2 episodes, CSI New York with Gary Sinise. And there was a scene where they shot my character, they killed him. They put his body in a car with the police officer who they're trying to kill, the number one lead, and they push him into the ocean by the Statue of Liberty in New York. So in the process of doing that, they had 9 scuba divers who were professionally trained scuba divers. They have all their gear, they're underwater. And they said that if anything happens, they'll rush in, they'll swim over to you, give you air, and they'll bring you back up to the surface. Our very first take, the car, we're underwater, I'm holding my breath, and thank God I can swim. I'm a really good swimmer, and I can hold my breath for just a little bit over a minute. We get down in there, as we're going under the water, it's coming up, I close my eyes, I open my eyes, and then I pretend like I'm dead. And I have a bullet hole going through my face, came out my neck, so you can see the bullet wounds. The underwater cameras, they're filming, they're like action. So I'm playing dead. The number one lead is beside me. He wakes up, he can't breathe, he starts freaking out, and then he's supposed to take off his seatbelt and swim out of the car and go to the surface. When he tried to do that, something went wrong and the seatbelt didn't work. He started freaking out and he gave them the sign, "Help me, help me." All of the scuba divers came to him, unbuckled him, gave him air, and took him up. But what about me? They left me in the car and I'm still holding my breath. I start freaking out. And thank God, by the grace of God, remembered I had my seatbelt on. Hit the button, and by the time I hit the button, I saw one of the scuba divers swimming back down to come and get me. I was already halfway out of the car. He gave me an air tank, and I swam back up to shore. After that first take, the star of the show said, "I'm not doing it again." I said, "Let's go back. I need to get my close up because I'm a professional." And I knew that they wouldn't make that mistake again. So that's the hardest and craziest story. Scariest moment I've ever had in my life was shooting CSI New York. And it's perfect timing because my wife is telling me dinner's ready.
Yeah, I know.
I'm 3 hours behind you guys, so.
I know, so that's why I'm like, that's why I kept looking at the time. And I'm just gonna share this one last video. And if anybody has any questions within that time, type it in the comment, say it real quick, and we'll move from there. On behalf of the Guild, once again, we are very grateful that you came on board. And if I can get this video to load. Oops. Sorry, guys. Okay, before I play it, we're not asking for any spoilers because we know you can't give us that. But I do follow Bob Hart Abishala, and I remember the scene where you went to go buy your suitcase at Balogun Market.
Yeah.
I can't find the clip, but I'll play something else. And of course, Kemi's sister now calls Kemi and is like giving this hot new gist to Kemi that Abishala's husband is coming over, XYZ, XY. Can you tell us about that? How you guys managed to film that in such clear vision in Balogun Market and then transition over to the US when you when it seemed like you first came back to America?
Okay. Well, I hate to spoil it for everybody, but that was shot here in LA in a parking lot at Warner Brothers. They recreated Balogun Market.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And this is me thinking.
They actually recreated it. You know what? I'll send you some video and some pictures afterwards that you can post on your site, or if people are interested to see. But yeah, no, even when the day that we shot that, when I got to set, I went into the studio looking like, how are they going to recreate this? Are they going to fly us to Nigeria? They're like, no, we've made set over in the parking lot. They booked a certain part of the Warner Brothers studios. They drove us over, and literally just driving up to it, my jaw was on the floor. How specific and accurate to the little mopeds, the food, the people, the women in the market, the men selling, just everything was so specific to, they even put dirt all over this huge parking lot and they created everything. The amount of money that they invest into making everything authentic, and it's Chuck Lorre. They burn money for this guy. You know, this guy's 2.5 Men, like, you know, all of his show, Big Bang Theory. So, you know, the budgets that these people play with is like, I don't even know how much they spend per episode. But it was amazing. It was so much fun, to the point I even took pictures and I took a couple of videos just for keepsake and for memory's sake. And yeah, it's shooting this show is really a highlight because I usually don't do comedies, but this has given me a new respect for doing comedies. I'm having the time of my life, and my character is not gone just yet. So I will see you all in the last 3 episodes of the season. That's all I'm going to say.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, please go ahead.
So Dayo, you mentioned that you were a script writer as well.
Sorry about that. As you can see, that's the first time Bob and Tayo first meet. Okay. Introduction, and it's what I like about my character, and I get along so well with Billy, is my character, and I bring a completely different energy to the show because it's such a lighthearted show, you know. But now that the husband has arrived, I'm bringing a whole new dynamic of drama, and it's not something they can walk away with. It was because of that episode and the episode after that, episode 8, that they called my agents and they booked me for 5 more. So the most I can say is the drama will continue, and I take a bit of a break, but I ain't going nowhere. Or Tayo is not going anywhere.
Hey, Uncle Tunde. What a wonderful coincidence. I just happened to be having lunch with Abishola's husband, and you show up.
Yes, what a wonderful coincidence.
Small world.
Pop, I know who you are. I looked you up on LinkedIn. There's another Detroit Bob Wheeler who's a dentist.
Did I get his mail? You mind if we talk for a second?
Of course.
Look, we both know what's going on here.
Yes, you are engaged to my wife.
Well, I like to think of it as you're married to my fiance. In Olu soap opera, you would discover you are brothers. That's the fufu. The point is, you left her.
Is that what she told you?
Well, am I missing something? Have you been in Tunde's basement this whole time?
You make it sound like I left in the middle of the night. I wanted my family to come back to Nigeria with me, but Abishola refused. In a way, she is the one who left me.
Is that true?
In a way. There was no abandonment. I've been in constant contact with my son the entire time.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
You did not know this because it is none of your business what goes on with my family.
Whatever your side of the story is, you've been gone for 8 years. She's with me now. She's moved on.
Abishola and I were happy once when we had nothing. But now I have a large house, driver, staff, and I have picked out a wonderful private school for Dele. To say a huge thank you once again to you for accepting, and as we're also a new group, we're learning, we're growing. We do have a movie that we did. It's a short film, and without even being screened or out yet, it's already won an award. Whoop, whoop. So we're very proud of that, and we look to doing more productions with more of like minds. I don't want to say just Nollywood because we're Black actors, not just Nigerian actors, not African actors, not Kenyan actors or anything. We're here to cater to all Black actors, as long as you identify as one. Is this on Netflix? No, it's not on Netflix. And who knows who I'm gonna fish out next? You know me, I like to go to the core of things and get you guys the best of the best. And we can only grow together, not apart. So if you want to contact Mr. Dayo Ade, please. He's on Instagram, and he's all over the World Wide Web. IMDb, he's there. So you can definitely reach out to him one-on-one if you want to. And any questions or any personal things that you want to do, just reach out to him. I reach out to him, and we're here today, right? So let's keep the connections going. The networking part of this whole thing is the only thing that will keep us together and expand us at the same time. So again, I want to say a huge thank you